Okay, hold up.
Where's your
We need him
mic?
to do the theme
If
song
you're gonna
real quick.
scream-
Get that guitar. You're gonna do a theme song. Do that.
While he's prepping the guitar, welcome our fans. This is episode four
yeah.
of the podcast.
Hold up, we're doing an
Unfortunately,
intro.
Eduardo, my soggy egos, and the one bully white guy, Josh, that we have doesn't want to show up. So it's just us three, the three amigops, the three meme-keteers, Cameron,
Hi.
Forrest,
Hello.
and actually Conrad. He's taking over for me. In a
I'm
sec.
really
What?
glad
Wait,
that
what?
I immediately turned that into a shit show by just having Paul play a guitar into my
Dude.
microphone.
All of our episodes are shit shows.
It was immediate.
This was gonna
I
be a
don't know, I think it gets pretty
long
bad
show.
when Josh starts memeing about lollies and shit.
Are we talking about that?
Look, I think we should actually hold that for when he's here, so he has some sort of a defense to that. Because honestly, I'm on the fence of at least I'm on the side, I should say, of lolly shouldn't be looted. One, it's illegal. I'll throw that out there. It's illegal.
Did we actually start the podcast?
But what if they're
Did
like,
we start it? I thought we did.
I don't know.
You're recording it. Fuck it, we're going. This is
oh
what we're stuck.
shit, we haven't even started yet. What? What are we doing?
This is what we're going with. This is our start. We're gonna keep going. All right. This is it. Congrats. This is what happens when one of our dudes, the sound dude, decides to just leave.
Anyway,
This is
welcome to
great.
the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about what got us into anime, and hopefully that's about it.
What?
You
That's
know,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I hope you can vamp for a while.
All right, who's gonna start?
Cameron, actually, I'm pretty
Well,
interested in how you started.
Fuck me, dude. All right. How did I get started anyway? So, when I was a wee young lad, so about 2 weeks ago, when I was 10,
Makes sense.
my mom was like super into like Inuyasha, like a stupid amount. Like I remember she would make me stay up till like the middle of the night when it fucking played on Adult Swim to watch it with her, and like she bought so many figures and wall scrolls.
Wait,
It
did she really?
she had. We still have them. We put them in the basement. She had probably 10 Inuyasha figures plus plushies, just all from Inuyasha. 2 wall scrolls. I remember how she always said if Shishomaru was a real man, she would leave my dad for him, and that was pretty confusing to a kid.
I think that's kind of like the standard, It's only
That's her
fair.
husband.
Can you even be mad? Can I get to be?
I
proud?
was very confusing when I was a child, but so that's probably how I started.
What shows did you start watching? Like as your first?
So with my mom, Inuyasha, Death Note was in there, I believe. Bleach was also in there. It was weird because it was it was like back like we only had cable. We didn't have like a Crunchyroll or anything. So if like we'd stay up.
Was Crunchyroll even a thing?
I don't even
back
think
then. I don't
so.
think
Probably
so.
not.
I think
I
it's like mid
I think
2000s, right?
Funimation
So
was before that.
Okay, follow up on that. I remember we'd go on demand on Comcast, and they had a Funimation section, that you could go through the menus on demand and find it, and that's how she'd watch it. I think she never got a Funimation like paid package, so she'd always just watch the free things.
Well, kind of how I started was, was I had a Funimation channel, like
Really?
on my TV, and my friend put it on, and I'm like, I play a lot of sports, and I was like, this nerdy shit. Why am I gonna watch this?
I feel you.
And then I saw one episode of XXX Holic, and I'm like,
Holy
okay,
shit!
I want to know what this is about.
My mom also watched the fuck out of that because I was really weird. I'm like, I should probably not be watching this as a kid because I remember I'm like even back then I'm like that lady's very seductive.
Well, the funny thing is, so I went on vacation a lot with
Yeah.
like it would just be like either me and my dad or the whole family. But me and my dad, I think, went to a baseball thing.
I like how that was no in between. It's like either you solo with the dad or everyone
Everybody.
goes.
Yeah.
No one else.
And there's shows that I wanted to watch, so I recorded it, and it was XX Holic. And my mom's like, "What is this?" Because it doesn't have a good name.
Yeah.
It sounds like a porn name.
I
I'm
remember.
like-
Actually, not thinking about it, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And then she watched it, I think, and then she got into anime after watching it. So She now watches
So
anime too.
Force was the gateway drug. Here we have it quoted, guys.
Also, I
Oh.
would like to follow that up with I didn't watch anime for a really long time after my mom, and then this motherfucker right next to me kind of got me back into it.
So what shows did you get back into? Like,
What show did I get back into?
Like, what was your first
show?
shows?
I suggested was on Ohana, wasn't it?
did you watch Anohana?
No, so it's not the first one.
Because I haven't watched that either.
So what probably got me? Because I used to watch it like a little, like when I was growing up. I'd watch like Future
Right.
Diaries. I remember I read the fuck out of Monster Messi.
Okay,
I
okay.
remember like before they even had the anime come out, I was like I started like on like
So you started on nude
chapter
stuff.
like 15 or something when they because it was like fan translation. I'm like, oh, this is weird. It might have actually been a midnight beat session, and like midway through, I'm like, I like the plot of this, and you just kind of keep reading it.
Also, follow up. Crunchyroll started 2006.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like later 2000.
Damn, so 12 years ago.
It's still like pretty long.
And
I thought
Cam,
that
you're only
12
like
years have been-
15.
Dude, I was like 6 when Crunchyroll came out.
That's 12 years of them just raw dogging us with the dimming, the shitty servers, the shit selection, the fucked up translations every now and again too. But that's all right.
Well,
what are you
usually it's
talking
convenient.
about?
It's
Pretty
convenient.
me.
Crunchyroll is
that too.
best.
It honestly bugs me, the fucking dimming. You notice it like in the Boku no Hero opening. When you're watching it, just focus on the colors of it, because then there'll be a moment where it's kind of grayed out and dimmed. It's something you do. They dim out something, but it's not.
Why?
It's not mostly Crunchyroll's fault. It's something that they do over there with the TV shows, because it's some old TVs and some shit. At least from what I understood. But they just don't get rid of it when it's online. 'Cause I guess we have TVs.
Why would they? They of all places, I thought Japan would not have old TVs. With
Well-
the technology powerhouse that it kind of is.
They're kind of weird on their technology too, is what I've heard. Is like it's more expensive because a lot of people come over here and buy their stuff because it's cheaper.
I guess it's probably the same because it's an island. I'm guessing, kind of
Yeah.
like Australia, where because they have to import everything.
I guess that's a fair point. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Well,
I guess it'd be cheaper to pay for your fucking plane ticket than it would to pay for fucking
Yeah.
ship.
because I know
Yeah.
Australia, it's like stupid expensive for everything.
But
Oh, well, shit. What? All right.
uh, damn, I lost track.
Good. I guess I'll go. With me, similar story to Cameron. I kind of was exposed to it at an early age, but then I didn't really follow up with it because one, there was a lack of interest due to lack of newer outlets that would show me a bit more, and also because I guess I was just no, I ain't into nerdy shit, dog type of mentality.
Yeah, I got that.
So
Yeah.
the first things I grew up with were the free and cheap stuff. So the reason Digimon 2 is my favorite is because that's the main show that I fucking watched as a kid. And then I also saw like some Western cartoons / whatever the fuck else you want to call it, like the Sherlock Holmes bit that they did to obviously Digimon. Then you had Fooly Cooly that was on Adult Swim a little bit later on. That's another one of the reasons that one's in my top 5.
Yeah.
But afterwards I stopped, and in my last year of high school, I walked in on my sister watching this show. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you watching? And she's like, I'm watching anime. What the fuck is anime? And she's like, hey, sit down, just watch. I'm like, okay. So I'm watching this. I'm like, this is stupid. Oh my god, this is hypey. Oh my god, this is the shit. And the show that she started, that started, I guess, my whole downfall, if you would, in society, was Kaketeo Hitman Reborn, which is
Okay.
like this chibi mafia member, and like it kind of powers up the dude who he's partnered up with, and there's other people that get partnered up with other stuff, and they just go and just beat up shit.
So is it like a comedy?
It's like a comedy shonen type of thing. It's like a childish like show, but
Yeah.
like it's basically a shonen. And
Okay.
they kind of just steamrolled everything. From there, I just went right into the field stream to like Anohana and some other things.
Because I know when I was younger, I guess I'll go more into mine. When I was younger, probably like 8, 9-ish, is every Halloween they would play Kiki's Delivery Service,
The classic.
and I would watch the shit out of that. But it was like I didn't know what it was at the time. And then I guess I also grew up with Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, and One Piece. But in my mind, I didn't think there was anything difference between that and the cartoon. But I grew up in sports and stuff. So I was like, this is just a cartoon. I'm a kid.
He grew up a Chad.
Yeah,
That'll
pretty
be
much.
noted here in the record books, guys. Episode 4. He commits to being the gateway drug and a Chad.
I can see Forrest being a Chad.
I can't.
Well, speaking of gateway
Oh,
drugs,
it's the rudest shit.
Is it? But is it wrong?
I plead the fifth.
damn. Speaking of gateway drugs, let's see. I put my mom in the anime. My dad watches it sometimes, and then I have 2 cousins that I put into pretty deep.
So my sister was watching it casually back when I was
In the anime.
started it, but then after she got me started with watching a lot of shows, like I just steamrolled a lot of different shows. Like I stayed up for 3 days in a row just watching all of Fairy Tail.
Damn,
I
there's like
liked-
500 episodes.
Dude, no, that was like before that. I was back. That was a couple arcs after the arc where they go to like a different world. Where
Okay.
it's like I guess a different dimension, but the same place that they're at. So Jalal's not a bad guy over there. He's actually some other shit. So it's like the arc immediately after that. So I stayed up 3 days, binge watched all of that shit, and I'm like, I'm done. Passed out, and then I slept for like a day and a half. And then afterwards, I'm like, hold it, have you seen this? Hey, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And then afterwards, she's like, oh, fine, fuck, I'll keep up with your shows, and we just kind of propelled each other to keep watching more shows.
See, I started watching it like I did XXX Holic, Angel Beats, Black Cat, and Soul Eater. I think were like my big ones that I started, but I had no one to talk to because I kind of hid it that I watched anime because I was
Closet
like,
weeb, yeah.
yeah, it's like I don't want to be a weeb, and then I kind of fell into it now.
I'm a normal boy.
I'm gonna play my sports, but
Yikes.
you know, then it's like, I can do both and be normal. And now it's just normal in general, just to watch nerdy stuff. So it's,
Yeah.
See, kinda. If you don't like at my work, if I told anyone that like I watched anime, I'd be actually crucified.
but we
To
work
be
in,
fair, though, you work with some people that are, in the single digits of the IQ realm.
you also work with older people.
They're like 50, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they're just kind of. Yeah, I remember like even like with video games because we got like a 30-year-old dude that plays video games. He's pretty adamant about it. He watches like League a lot. He's really into video games, and like he talked to my boss about it, and my boss basically short of saying like, "Hey, you're a piece of shit. I hope you know that because you play video games." And he's like, "What?"
Yikes.
So I don't even know what he would do if I'm like, "I watch anime."
See, it's like
The fuck did you call me? And then just
to me, it's the same thing because I do kind of the same deal. Like when I go to conventions, I normally say it's just the comic conventions because a lot of people understand that. I don't have to explain what it is. It's video game oriented, and then to me, there's still
some sort of stigma, I guess.
yeah on anime where it's like either just lewd or it's like just really kiddie at some point.
They lewd kids! Oh god,
Oh,
no.
no. He knows.
It's
It's like what the
bold.
fuck.
Which is illegal, by the way, never forget.
She's a 200-year-old vampire, dude. What the fuck are you talking
Look,
about?
that's a different thing. That's just a petite, older person. But when it's like, it's actually kids that they're looting, it's like, I guess we'll get into that
Yes,
discussion.
That'll
That'll be a
That'll be
discussion
another
we'll save.
conversation.
Yeah, we'll save that discussion for later.
But yeah, it's like I grew up with all that, and then even now it doesn't seem very popular, kinda. But
I mean, it
Going-
is.
well, yeah, if you go to conventions, it's really popular now. Like, because the comic book movies are taking off, or are taking off, and there's so much around. But it just how I grew up, I was like, nah, I don't really want to talk about this. This would feel like it would put me down, but now it's like I'm not as bad. I don't really care, because who am I trying to impress?
The cute girl that's by the manga section. What do you mean? Who you trying to impress? Obviously
Well,
them.
Well, there's no cute girls at my work. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got none.
Oh wait, really?
Dude.
I
Is it
have
a
like
couple?
50-year-old dudes.
Yeah, me too.
Oh no, I meant like in the manga section, like a
Oh,
Barnes and
no,
Noble
no,
type of
that-
thing.
You think
So
I
the
go
manga
outside?
section. Yeah. How do you get groceries? What?
He drives his
Uber
car
Eats it.
through the
Uber eats it.
Hey,
Yikes.
Uber eats my groceries. I told him just to go to Walmart.
to Walmart.
Yeah, just drive into Walmart.
Pick me up some DiGiorno's, fam.
This is not delivery.
Oh, I love DiGiorno.
It's DiGiorno's. You can't do that. Hey, get back here.
But this is the part of the show where I like to give a shout out to our 4 fans. My mom,
My mom.
yeah, Kevin, Jaden, and actually Forrest's mom.
Don't forget Conrad. That's behind us
Oh
doing
yeah,
the sound.
Conrad's our fifth fan. Yeah, we have five. We did it, dude. It's an
Dude,
amalgamation.
If we can make
of
it
our
10
fans.
digits, I'm gonna retire.
Dude, we get
10
at least
digits?
one. At least
10
we get at
digits.
least one fan per episode. All
Sorry,
right. At this
sorry,
rate,
I
we'll
meant
have
10
at least
people.
7 episodes when we're done. I mean,
10 digits. When we get 1 billion fans, Forrest will retire.
I
Oh
wish
yeah,
he
I'd definitely
retired.
do that.
I would retire. If I can get any of those people to give me a penny.
Like if this podcast got going and it was a stable source of income, I'd fucking drop out of whatever work I was doing.
I would just do so much cocaine and hookers, dude.
Anyway,
We're Christian friendly, dude.
So what else got you guys into anime and kept you going? Like, I know there was lulls in my time where I just kind of stopped. I don't know if you guys had that.
Eric.
I've had some moments where I've stopped being interested, mostly because of an oversaturation, mostly due to my part.
Burnout.
Like I would go through so many shows, like in a week. I'd say maybe realistically, I'd be looking at maybe 13 to 20 shows a week, depending on how I was that week, and we just binge watch a lot. And after a while, I was just like, I've seen everything. just kind of losing interest in a lot of stuff. And even though by saying that, I'm still following up with a lot of shitty shows that are going on at the moment, mostly the harems.
Well,
Really?
of course,
You're watching
the
that
real
Ragnarok
shitty
I'm
ones.
watching
one?
those 2 shitty harems.
Don't do that
Dude,
to yourself.
They're
There's
so
3 of
bad.
them.
I love them. Wait, well,
The onsen one, if you ever pick up that one.
Is that? That makes me so sad.
kind of a
that's
harem, yeah, but
It's
more
not
of a
that
comedy than
shitty.
anything.
It's
That makes
pretty
me
good.
so sad. That's a harem.
It's pretty fun.
You'll
I'd pick
like it.
I'd pick it up, to be honest. Would recommend.
Yeah, I would recommend it too. Dude, they're all good characters.
No doubt. But I don't know. Like, I kind of get so disappointed with so many different shows just because, like, they have an interesting premise, they have an interesting setting, they have an interesting a score, I guess, and they would like the characters themselves. Like, they're like, all right, I guess they could have some potential, but then afterwards they kind of just have like they follow like this linear path that I constantly saw in a lot of shows, where it's
Yeah,
like
the
first
usual
2
curve.
episodes hype it up and then flatline, boring filler, boring random bullshit, doesn't matter, and then at the end, oh yeah, a little bit of progression, we're done. I'm like, all right, cool. I could have just watched the first, the second, and the last episode.
Yeah.
And a good example of this to me sticks out is Love Alternative or Total Eclipse, if I remember it.
Yeah.
Like the first 2 episodes were so fucking dark. Like, for me at the moment, it was kind of something a little shocking seeing this whole grim dark-esque environment, and then nothing. Absolutely nothing to the last episodes. But by the last episodes, when they're starting to kill off random characters that we don't care about, it's like, I don't care about these guys, so.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with anime. It's like it's always been on the curve where it's like you see this, it goes up, and then it flatlines, and then it goes down, and then it goes back up, and then it flatlines, and you're just like, well, after you see so many of them, you're like, I know where this is going. Sometimes they do surprise you, but
Really kind of true with all media.
oh yeah,
That's fair. That's a fair point.
well,
Well,
that's
like,
why
I
we have
feel
so
like-
much.
Even like most action movies, you can look at, but I could most likely figure
Right,
out how this
but-
is going to end. Right.
But
from
my
the
main
start.
gripe with that, like, I was using your comparison. You were using action movies
Yeah.
in general, but like for us, it feel like just anime completely in general in all of its
Yeah.
genres, and like it was just so hard to kind of dig through all the shift through all the shit to try to find those gold nuggets that were pretty worth it.
Yeah.
Well,
I can see.
I feel like these seasons, at least probably the last 2 or 3, have at least had some pretty hype stuff in it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
some really
agree with
just cute stuff in general. So
I feel
it's
like
just
I think there was a lot of good shit, but it's different shit for different people.
oh yeah.
Like if you're into that cute moe shit, for sure, you had some good
Well,
cute
there's
moe
so
shit.
many moe
If you're
blobs.
into like good fight scenes and shonen shit, there was some good shonen stuff. If you're into some mechas, man, we got you with the fucking mechas. If you want some comedy, had that up the wazoo. Like there was a little bit of good things for everyone, but I don't know. I guess at this point, I'm sitting at like this bland taste of just not being all too interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. Because, I don't know. I guess going back is like, I started in high school, probably like junior year. I stopped in senior year. And then I think I really picked up again was college. Like, my first semester, I would go to class, and then I'd have like an hour or 2 break in between. I'd go to the library, and then I'd do the homework, and I'd just sit and watch anime. And I'd watch or draw it.
And now you get paid to watch anime,
Nope.
essentially.
Sitting
And-
inside walls.
You sit inside walls and just watch anime while they drill holes.
Oh my god. it was so good, man. I got paid like at least a good 8 hours of watching anime at work.
Wish I could do that.
Actually, goals.
I should have done that when I was in the
There's
fucking
gonna be a
oven.
moment coming up in my work where I'll be getting paid just to listen to podcasts and listen to music, because most of the stuff is kind of brainless. Like when it comes to zip codes and shit, just speeding
You
through that shit.
literally just use the number pad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty good at my Tinky. Like the speed they want is like 750 like images per hour, and I'll be
Yeah.
cranking up almost 2K. I'm like, all right, I
Damn.
can do this kind of brainlessly. And then like there's a couple other things that are pretty easy, a couple things I'm still learning, but overall, like it seems like if you get pretty comfortable with it and are pretty adequate at what you're doing, then it just kind of going through the motions, you know, and just doing that while you're listening to the shit just seems like the life, to be honest.
Well, and at least in my job, I do the same thing because it's like, it's not really always brainless, but there's just times where I can just put something in the background if I'm working by myself and just
Yeah. I got the
Listen
same
for
thing,
hours.
Too. I wish I could do that at my work. I'm just, I'm sitting, at one machine, just making 1,000 of the same part. I'm like, dude, I can literally do this with my eyes closed. I wish I could just, have something. Because all they do is, like, listen to, like, the same, 50 songs from the 80s every day.
The classics, man, you gotta love it.
It's the same. I'm like, dude, I just want to put in my headphones so I don't have to hear fucking, Stroke Man for like the 50th fucking time today.
that's the best part. If you can listen to the same song over and over again.
For me, what was the name of the band? For me, it was Def Leppard back when I was taking up I did a little bit of welding back in high school. It was like a class,
Hell yeah.
and Def Leppard was like the main music.
It's just like that's like the generation.
I hate it.
Fucking well.
I hate it
I think-
so much.
I think it's actually like a
Well-
statistic that most welders are in their fucking 50s now. It's fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, well, most of our jobs,
Trade
they're older.
jobs.
Yeah, are older people, and they're dying basically.
I think the youngest person in my shop is 30.
Mine has a nice mix, to be
Besides me.
honest. There's like a wide variety of people that are pretty old, and I'm pretty impressed because they're fast as fuck. And then there's a couple that are like more my age, a couple that are like in their 30s or 40s. There's a couple that are like almost barely out of high school type of mentality. Like there's a wide variety of people where I'm at.
That makes sense. But yeah, so what genres did you guys like start with in anime? Because like I started more on the actiony side. I think I started as Soul Eater, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Darker Than Black.
Even though he's not here, Josh is creaming his pants just over the suggestions you just brought up.
I know.
He's like, oh, that's my shit, dude. Just
Is he an old man now
Like
too?
the Sixth Sense thing.
yeah, that's.
Why am I jizzing myself right now?
And then he's coming. Oh, I forgot the podcast. Hey guys.
Shit.
I'm taking over his role today, so
Let's see if he's.
well, me also talk
Ever
about it.
text you.
Nah, don't even bother focusing on
But-
that, dude.
But yeah, so like
Don't need the negativity in your life.
Darker Than Black to me was one of the shows that really got me into anime because it was like dark and gritty. I always thought anime was more like happy comedy and more
Kinda
Naruto, One Piece.
Yeah.
And I never
Yeah.
knew that.
Nah, I feel you. I think for me, one of the first things that really piqued my interest were shows basically like Future Diaries and Guilty Crown and a couple other ones. That was like the
Yeah.
gateway, like, oh look, it's so different than what I assumed. And then from there, I was like, well, fuck, I'm just gonna try everything. And I kind of just stuck in the same trope of like liking like basically comedies, some emotional slice of life shit, and then like whatever the fuck else piques my interest.
Well, I think the first romances, that's what really got me into it, was like Suzuka and Toradora. And I just ended up watching the shit out of them. And I'm like, oh my god, I guess I like romance. But that, to me that was weird too. It's another stigma.
Yeah.
It's like, romance for a guy? What's wrong with you?
I also felt that too. I just like watching people like be lovey-dovey and like, why are you guys hurting? Why don't you just love each other?
Yeah, I feel you. I don't know, but for me to go a little bit of a tangent thought of that, against the whole stigmas and shit. I kind of had like an existentialist crisis back in my senior year of high school, which is again what led to me opening up to anime with my sister and everything. It was a point where I was questioning a lot of values that I thought either were pushed onto me and I grew up with, or ones that I actually thought for myself. So by that point, the whole gender stereotypes and bravado bullshit, I was like, I don't give a fuck. If it entertains me and if I like it, I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah, that's what I kind of got into. As I said, it was still kind of closeted away from me, but the older I got, the less I cared. It was like, this is what I like. This is what I'm gonna watch. If it's shit, oh well. If it's not,
Oh, well.
I'm with more people. So, what got you into, like, what genres were you into, Cam, when you first started?
I'm not sure if I could really answer that. So,
Hentai doesn't count.
fuck.
I think, to be fair, with Cam back in the early parts where I was exposing him to a bunch of different shit,
Yeah.
we just suggested fucking everything.
Literally just kind of whatever anyone told
We
me
were like,
to
hey,
watch.
I don't know what
And
he'll,
then
I don't
I'd
know what
watch,
he'll like. I don't know what he'll
a
be into,
quarter of
and
it.
just suggested everything. And
See, my problem was I had nobody. Like, the one friend kind of liked it, but he just liked Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And then I was just like,
Well,
who's gonna tell me what's good? And I just kind of looked at the pictures, or Funimation would have new shows every week, and they would go through like 12 episodes in 2 weeks. So I'd be like watching new stuff all the time. So whatever the show or TV show showed me is when I started watching, I guess.
oof.
And I saw some really good stuff and some stuff that will never be talked about ever again.
please do tell.
So I watched a show called Steins Gate.
You fucking kill
Yeah, it
you.
was pretty bad to be.
Have you even started watching Steins Gate Zero?
No,
You
because it's
son of a fucking.
it's so
Fuck no.
stressful, man.
I didn't. I didn't start it. I'm not gonna watch it. I
will watch
can't
it.
handle the depression right now in my life.
Dude.
Dude.
I want to talk about it with someone. They're doing
Dude,
a bunch of weird shit.
You have literally everyone else in the group but us two. Like,
Eddie hasn't started watching it. Josh has never watched it. Who the fuck
Wait,
am I
what?
talking to?
Josh has
hasn't
never
watched
watched.
He has
Steins
He's a
never
Gate.
lying sack of shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me.
All right. So
I'm gonna
back.
fucking kick the shit out
So
of him.
back with at least not with Zero. Looking back at original Steins Gate, he always mentioned how he watched it, how he loved it, and whatever the fuck else.
So
Back when,
talking about
when we were
Gate.
initially talking, no, Steins Gate. That's what we talked about, and then we talked about it like during our early moments of getting to know each other as friends and shit. And then like I guess I just took his word for it.
So, Forrest, you were there when you told me you never watched Steins Gate, right? You
I'm
were
pretty
there?
sure I was there
I remember him saying that to my fucking face.
because that's why we're gonna all watch Steins Gate just to kind of get him into it.
Fuck,
I'm
I
gonna
think
bail.
he said it on the
Oh, that's
fucking
fine.
podcast. I think we might.
I wouldn't doubt it. If we had some sort of historian that would look back and just reference these moments, this is when you fucked up type of thing, then I'd be all for it. You know?
Speaking of a shout out again, my mom started to watch Steins Gate and she loves it.
Best fan that we have. Sorry, Kevin.
I need.
She liked your recommendation.
Hell yeah.
Your
How
mom's
did-
my favorite person. out
Yeah,
of
dude, me
Forrest's
too.
family now.
Me
That's
too.
great.
Mostly because Forrest cooks for us, and by proxy, his mom's also got to be pretty good. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what he said. He's never seen Steins Gate. I was like, well, we're gonna have to make you watch it.
I don't know.
And
how
then we
he's
gotta
never
watch
seen
Steins
that.
Gate Zero. and
Wait,
kill
wait,
ourselves.
Cam, Connor, do you guys still have my Blu-ray or do I have it now? I don't fucking know.
I think Conrad has it.
Oh, yeah, because what we could do, since I have the Blu-ray, I could
Oh
just
my
let that
God.
fucker actually watch it, you know, because it's
Well-
there.
Well, if we make him watch it, I say we do a review on Steins Gate.
What'd you just say?
A review on Steins Gate.
I'm at half mast now that you said that. Keep going, Forrest.
Review on Boku no Pico.
Fuck! You debated me! You son of a bitch!
That's basically how Josh was reacting when you mentioned those other three shows. So
Yeah,
either
pretty
you
much.
had I'm a half mass. Yikes.
But yeah, it's like getting him into that would be nice.
That was probably.
But
That's
we got to
what-
get him into other stuff, and you also have to start watching some of the older stuff
Dude,
too.
I have no fucking time. That's
No,
the
I know,
only
I know.
Issue.
At least you're watching new stuff.
I'm
Josh, I
keeping
know,
up-
is keeping up with like every show
I
on the
don't
planet.
know how he does that.
He abandons us.
He's gonna be
Yeah,
fucked
pretty
when he
much.
starts school.
That's why he's not here.
He's gonna go through my fucking pain.
He either abandons us to watch anime, play games, or to hang out with his other friends.
Or to
That's
hang out with
mainly
his
Melissa and-
wife.
Yeah, mainly
What the
Melissa.
fuck is
and,
that?
yeah.
God.
Does Melissa listen to
Shout out
this
to Melissa.
podcast?
I know you don't listen to this, but shout
She
out to
does
Melissa.
listen to this. She went to my
Josh,
birthday
tell her
dinner.
that.
Shout out to Melissa.
Yeah, she had sushi for like second time and liked one of them.
Never forget that she fucking debated us so hard in the group chat that one
we
time.
won't forget that.
For those that don't know, we were just dicking around, and while we were going through the chat and saying, "Hey, when are we gonna start the podcast?" Unbeknownst to us, Melissa, acting as Josh, Melissa being Josh's wife,
There you go.
goes through and says, "Hey guys, I'm sorry, I've been busy. I'm getting a divorce," and we're like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And turns out it was actually just Melissa just yanking our chain. So thanks for giving us mini heart attacks.
I almost drove down to Josh's house and beat the shit out of him for what his wife did to me.
Well,
That was an emotional roller coaster.
You couldn't do that.
I
We're
was
gonna start
going-
the podcast.
Dude, I was going to Discord with my headphones and do like a live thing where I drive to Josh's
And-
house.
You
and
hear
beat
like
the
a
shit
car
out of him.
going down the road.
What's that? We have the window open. Don't worry about it, Josh.
Bust through the
That
door,
would've
yelling at Josh.
We should have
kicking
done
his
that.
ass.
Put the podcast on mobile, put it in my car, put it on GoPros, and it's just us fucking eating a sack of potatoes. and
Speaking of
beating the shit
GoPros,
out of
on a
Josh.
tangent thought, did you guys see the BMX rider's GoPro view of when he's it's like a POV of when he's doing his run?
No.
No.
So it's pretty fucking dope, to be honest. You see him do it through all the twirls and the.
Hey,
I don't know how they can
Clips.
do that.
ever been a BMX anime putting things back on
I would
track?
fucking
There's a-
watch that
There's
shit.
a bike anime,
Can
and
we-
it's Yoshimu Pedal or something like that.
something pedal. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but that's more of just
There's like a Tour de
pedal
France
bike?
type of thing.
Yeah, it's Tour de
more-
France.
More than like a BMX. If there was like a BMX,
or pedal bike, so
sports
pedal
anime
bike.
thing, dude, I'd be all over that shit. All over that shit.
So
Well, speaking of sports anime, we might as well go into that a little bit too.
I
It's
haven't
like-
watched any of the new ones. So
me
don't
No,
worry.
neither.
no.
I watched
that's
the first
fine.
episode of the beach volleyball one. I'm like,
That's
They
like-
look good.
What-
I'm
what do you
enticed,
think-
but I'll
I
start
like
later.
the animation, but like, this is not my thing to watch.
What do you
Wait,
think?
have you
got-
not watched Haikyuu? Hold up.
No,
I haven't seen
I
it
would
either.
100% recommend
is
it.
it
Look,
just girls jumping around?
No,
No,
it's dudes.
Haikyuu is a boys volleyball team.
I-
Fucking. That's the
That's-
reason we got into volleyball all those many summers ago.
oh,
guys.
that's why you fucking
That's-
played volleyball.
That's the
Is it
reason we
same
played
reason
volleyball.
We made hot pot. I remember that shit.
No, that was
No,
because
that was
Yuri
just because we
camp.
wanted to do
Yuri-
something
yeah.
else. Yeah,
Eurocamp.
yeah, that was Yuru camp.
That was fucking.
No, but like honestly, like sticking on the Haikyuu for a little bit before we let Forrest bring up the next subject that he wants to bring up. It's we just kind of scoff at it like it's a sports anime, what the fuck? But honestly, the way that they portray a lot of it gets to me on an emotional level. It gets me so hyped. It gets me so down. I care so much about these guys. Like they're my own children. Would suggest it. Would recommend it.
Well, my question is like, when I started sports anime, it was like not really big. I think I started with like Big Wind Up and Bamboo something. It was a sword fighting one with little girls. But
Yeah.
but where did that become like so big? Like where did it blow up?
I think it was the basketball ones that kind of enticed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then, personally, from my own experience, I would say it was Haikyuu that kind of just skyrocketed the fucking genre to such a high tier.
Because this
in my
season we
list, at
have
least.
like 2. And then it's just like if you keep going back, there's just at least 1 or 2 a season,
Right.
and it's like this never happened before, but it's not bad.
Right before it was like once every 2 years or some shit.
Yeah,
Or like,
'cause it's
and
like-
that one would be like 2 cores or 1 core.
It's like I said, Big Wind Up was the thing. I guess you had the boxing one, which was really old. Can't quite remember the name of it.
Is it Megalo box?
No, not Megalo. It's a new show. A really old show.
It looks old.
Yeah, that's
look
true.
old.
They actually made it in the '90s and put it in like a fucking like
A
the
time capsule.
time capsule.
That makes sense.
the future.
This is my life's work.
What the fuck?
Ghost.
Show this
Was
to
that
my-
you, Conrad? What the fuck?
It's a ghost. Anyway, but it's like all the shows now are starting to morph again. It feels like to me, it's like more going towards. I guess comedy's always been around, but more sports anime than there ever used to be.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of becoming like a new era of things. Kind of like how moe shit was like the main thing that you saw for a couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone looked at me for 2 seconds.
I don't know. It looked like you were gonna say something.
I don't know.
Have you watched any sports anime at all?
Me?
Yeah. Like, have you watched Yuri on Ice?
I'm not gonna watch that.
Yeah, I'm
It's
not gonna
about
watch this.
girls.
I heard
on
it,
Ice.
Like, went shit on the end.
No, don't watch it, dude.
Yeah, I
No.
was on the anime subreddit, and I guess like didn't like shit hit the fan like
Oh,
towards
no.
the end, like something like with like the production.
It's
That's
a
what I was
yaoi
reading.
show. That's all I
Yeah,
can tell
the
you.
production.
That's-
There's a lot of shitty moments. My main gripe with the show is what came afterwards, because Crunchyroll Awards. God bless these all-saying
God.
soothsayers in fucking anime logic gave Yuri on Ice so much fucking shit.
Well,
so
it's
many
the same
awards.
thing. Like last year was all fucking Boku no
Yeah.
Hero.
Best animation, even though fucking there were so many scenes that looked fucking shitty.
Yeah.
Thanks Crunchyroll. I
Don't-
appreciate that.
The only thing that really came out of Yuri on Ice was there's a lot more skaters now that do more routines like anime style. Like you
Yeah,
had the
yeah.
Yuri on
Sailor
Ice
Moon.
style, or Yuri on Ice one. You had the the magical girl one,
Sailor Moon.
Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had the routine on that, and you're just like, holy cow.
I said that. You
Oh,
know, say
I-
that.
I thought you said the nude one. I'm like, no, that's not what we.
Well, there could be a nude one too.
It's anime.
It's anime. But yeah, a lot more people, like a lot more sports people are coming out that they're like in the anime, and like definitely the ones that are about that certain sport. They're like, yeah, this show's fucking great.
I think another thing that plays into that, again, I have no background evidence to pull this up. It's just all anecdotal bullshit I'm pulling out of my ass. But I think that a lot of the recent hype around a lot of that shit comes from, I guess, the community that it's aimed for. Because looking at a lot of, like, I guess us weebs, us nerds, I guess, not too many of them had too many good experiences with, like, sports fans bases and shit.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of us got really hype over sort of things. Like for me, I got really big into esports. It's something that I love. So having them have a similar outlet through something that they fucking love, like I guess it would just be like a nice secondhand experience. I guess
It's like watching sports. Like it's between of watching sports and watching like the behind the scenes of how these people live too. And you're just like, it's like this kind of feels real. It's like this could be what's going on behind the scenes that we don't know about in some of them.
right.
But
No, but yeah, Cam, look, I've suggested a lot of good shit to you. I've suggested a lot of other things. I would really recommend that you try to pick up IQ.
yeah,
I kind of want to watch XX Holic now. I want to watch that.
So-
I remembered I really like the animation in that for whatever reason.
they have really lengthy legs.
That's the thing. It reminds me of that like ballroom anime with like they're like super lengthy. I
Yeah.
have no idea why I like that, but I like the way that works.
It's Clamps animation style. Like if you read any of their mangas, they all have that weird body shape. You're like 90%
They're basically
leg.
Slenderman, yeah.
90% leg, 2% everything else, and then the rest
Did
is
that
air.
ballroom anime suck?
I have no clue. I never watched it.
I was watching it.
I remember
The
watching it with
first
John.
the first season I really liked, to
There
be
was 2
honest.
seasons.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was like a 2 core thing, so I guess it's 1 season, but it went through 2 regular seasons worth.
Oh, okay.
So like for me, the first part I really fucking loved. I enjoyed a lot of it, even though there was a lot of shoddy animation through certain moments. I didn't particularly mind due to everything else that was being delivered with it. But the second arc came up, and like I don't know. I guess I was just busy. I guess I was hit with those slumps of like not being too interested in anime overall, and just kind of just dropped it all in general. I
I
think I might go
see.
back and finish it. So I don't know if it's something I would blame on them particularly, or something that I would blame on myself.
My question is like, are you more into animation or are you more into like story, characters? Like, what's the main thing that makes you watch?
I don't know. I say it's a mixture of both because like when you see something that's just like animated super well and it looks nice, like it's really appealing just to see like how fluid it is. It also kind of brings me before we go too far from that. It had a really shitty animation. You said something where you dance and you want it to be really fluid. You think that they would concentrate on that the most?
So when I say shoddy animation, there was a couple moments during their dances where some things in the background would be thrown out really just
Like the old
in the back.
90s video games?
Yeah, basically. But like I didn't blame that too much because I'm like, I'm not focusing on the background characters. I'm focusing on the dance.
Okay,
During
I
the
see.
dance, for the most part, from what I remember, most of the dances were really well done.
Okay.
There's a couple moments that I'm like,
So it's like crap.
no, not really. That this looks like crap. Like it kind of looks like a repeat animation that you've already shown us.
Gotcha.
But I mean, it's a dance, so
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I know for me, like, I think characters and animation are probably a little bit more important than story. Because, like, if I can fall in love with a character, I can sometimes throw away story.
Yeah. Well, that's what.
And, like, I know Darling we shit
yeah,
on
that's
so
what I was
much,
gonna say.
but I do like Zero Two, and I love the animation and all the fight scenes.
I
So
also
it's-
really like Hero. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in the minority here, but I really enjoyed.
I'm
I
with
think
him.
I think he was kind of a boring dude.
He started
But
off pretty slow.
I appreciate what they did with him, and I appreciate everything that he ultimately was a catalyst for.
There was a couple things where in the in the show he actually did where I'm like, you should do this, and that was pretty cool to see. Like when he took like the training pranks, and that motherfucker ran with a fucking paddle to get her. I'm like, hell yeah,
He
that's
grew
exactly
so
what I
much.
wanted you to do. And then it kind of got boring at the end.
No, yeah.
I
It
don't-
went weird.
Yeah, weird's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, let's not talk about too much because Connor's right behind us and he hasn't seen it yet.
So about that scene where they all fuck, it's pretty weird.
Dude, we're Christian friendly. What the fuck are you doing?
I mean,
What is
when they all have sexual intercourse.
Dude,
Is
what
that
the
better?
fuck?
you saying? I thought you were saying cushion, not Christian friendly. Holy
This is
We're
Christian
both.
friendly. We
cushion.
like to
I'm
be
like, what the
comfortable.
fuck is a cushion friendly?
It's the thing that Eddie bought that's behind you.
Yeah.
It's Eddie's body pillow, by
I
the
didn't
way.
know that was a core part of our demographic was dockies.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Now 2 of us have dockies.
I got a docky.
3 of
Three
us
of
have
them.
dockies.
I got them two to buy Dockies. That was
That's
my
pretty
biggest
great.
moment of the thing.
You did it.
Can I get a Docky now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm waiting for it.
I'm.
That's pretty
I
cool.
was really hoping you guys would get me like another cover of the Tamamo from the Fate universe, but
Well, Kevin looked, and then the one he found was small, and then by the time you texted back, it was too late. I think.
how does it work? What the fuck do you want?
Don't look at me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kevin. Oh,
What we
Kevin
trying
also
to do?
watches.
So for those that aren't here, there's shit that you
everyone
just
actually watching this.
yeah, everyone. So all 3 of our fans, oh, excuse me, all 5
Sorry,
of our
Mom.
fans, fucking, there's like random shit that's just being dropped in this room. Like we're just sitting down, all right. We're sitting down in like this little environment. We're stationary. Our other friend who's over here just listening to us is just sitting there too, and there's just shit is just being thrown around. Like if I was on an episode of like Ghost Adventures or some shit, it'd be like, oh yeah, this is where the light anomaly comes in, and you'd see
Break
these
out the
things get
spirit box real quick.
Well, I know what it is. It's the ghost of Eddie.
the ghost of Voodoo.
Did he die?
Get out of my
I
room!
guess so. You haven't seen him in like 12 hours. He's dead.
It's the curse of Eddie. Yeah.
It's kind of like a tomb where it's cursed. Like we should. There's like some sort of writing on the side of the door that we just ignore. That says all that enter may die of smallpox or some crazy shit like that.
May get tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis.
Shoutouts to Bob. Never forget.
Wait, what? He got?
He has TB. Yeah.
Anyway,
Not even memeing. We will talk about this when we get out of the podcast. You can ask him. It's a pretty funny thing. Kind of sad, but pretty funny.
have you ever watched Ghost Hunt, the anime?
Thanks for putting us back.
No,
on
I've
track.
never even seen. I
didn't even
didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
Because
hey, whatever.
it's like an old, like 90s, 2000. Okay, they did a cool high five. Anyway, so it's like I guess like 90s, early 2000. So the animation's like old, but they go hunting for ghosts.
Do tell.
But there's 3 exorcists. One's Christian, one's a Buddhist monk, and one's a Shinto priestess. And one guy has super magic powers. Don't ask me what he has. And they just literally get calls that there's ghosts in this type of area, and they either kill it or they find out that it's not really a ghost. Like one of them's just an old building,
So it's
and
like
it's just falling.
kind of like Scooby Doo, but with sometimes real monsters.
Zoinks.
Yeah,
That's pretty great.
yeah,
Can
it's
we
a good
talk
show.
about we never talked about on the podcast
What?
since we're just kind of talking about random shit right now.
Yeah.
As I could tell. The one where world leaders play mahjong. Has any of you seen
Look,
that?
I've seen a
No.
couple of mahjong anime, but like I've
This
never
is
seen like.
leader of Japan versus.
Yeah,
like,
I haven't
Bush
seen that.
playing
What was it
mahjong.
called, dude?
We
I
looked
know
it up
you-
last time,
you-
and it's some sort of crazy name I don't remember.
All right, dude. After this, I'll go look it up and
It
I'll go
was
give it a
like
peep.
we could only find like me and Conrad actually watched it. I think we only found like 5 or 6 episodes.
Okay.
And it was not on any like official site. We just found it.
Okay.
I just remembered it was very enjoyable to see Bush like in an
I'll
anime,
give it a
which is something I thought I would never see before.
Check me.
I think it was maybe Big Daddy Bush and Bush Jr.
Oh.
if I
don't wanna say
remember
the joke,
correctly.
never mind. I realize not say it. Never mind.
What?
I was gonna make a bad joke. I don't want
Don't
to say it.
stop. Hold it in.
I'm still holding it in.
I'm proud of you, man.
But yeah,
What were you gonna say?
no, I'm not saying it. Anyway, so I guess the recap. What got you in the anime one more time?
Holy shit.
We're recapping. What the fuck, dude? I don't remember what we said like 5 minutes
Dude,
ago.
Yeah, I didn't
let's-
think
All right, all right. For me, Existentialist Crisis, Little Sister as a gateway, and then just other shows. That's what I got. That's my recap. That's what got me in anime.
Okay, so my mom
Okay.
and
Eric.
Eric. Yeah, Eric. It's probably mostly Eric at this point.
You're welcome.
He's kind of put me onto this. You should be watching.
Stop.
It's the Funimation thing.
Stop interrupting Cameron.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, Eric. He's a pretty cool guy. He got me into anime. I feel like he got a lot of my family into anime. Now thinking about it, you got a Mr. Conrad behind us. Probably to a certain extent, Eric probably didn't get Eric into anime too much now thinking about it, because Eric still watches like his shit right now is MASH, and that's not anime at all. So
It could be.
he watched. Where are you watching Shinto? Where the fuck where Shin Chan?
You watch Shin
Shin-chan.
Chan.
My mom
yeah.
also watched Shin Chan. Now thinking about it,
I remember watching that as a kid.
that's the one where he pulls down his pants a lot.
Always.
Yes.
That's his main
I
thing.
remember that. That's something that's in my head.
Are they allowed to do that on TV nowadays?
Tommy Wiseau did so.
Oh, then it's fine. We're fine.
In the room? I'm not sure if they put the room on TV.
Shh.
Why is he fucking belly
Everything's
button?
TV.
I like how they mentioned that. Did you see the Disaster Artist?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's one of the lines. They're talking about like, does he know that's the belly button?
We talked about that while watching that. Like,
Yep.
he's like at least like 8
16
inches.
feet up.
Yeah,
So
16
funny.
feet up on
It's
a
so
9-inch
funny.
person. 9-inch person.
9-inch first.
I guess I'll
quick
end
math.
with mine. Friend turned it on by accident. Thought he was stupid. I guess made me watch it. And then just went back into it. That's about it, though. Thanks for watching.
No, we got.
No, what the fuck?
What?
We're not
What?
over
Yeah,
yet.
dude, keep going. What the fuck? I'm
We
gonna
got
keep
more
going.
stuff to
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what?
dude.
Don't what? Dude, yeah.
Let's talk about some of the things that Eric put in the Discord.
In the Discord. We could, or we
We
could
actually
go.
talk. No, that's for other podcasts.
Now we can bring up the other prompt that you were mentioning.
We're gonna. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you put.
Yeah,
you
like
said some
so
prompts.
we have a Discord where we we're supposed to be putting lots of prompts and shit, and occasionally we do. But then there's other times when people, namely Eddie and Forrest, who would want to talk about something, but then they keep it to themselves, and they'll ask me like, "Hey guys, this is what I want to talk about," and I'm like, "All right, cool. This is surprise prompt, I guess."
Yeah,
and
I
then-
hate it when you do
And
that, dude.
the thing,
Well, if it's
no,
like
I
top
don't-
fives
no,
or
I'm-
something you gotta think about, I
I'm
would
fine
tell
with
you.
it. I just wish that they would talk with us so we can give them some feedback
Fuck
and
no,
like
I'm not
work
fine
with
with
that
it.
thought. Anyway, the main thing I have a gripe with is when I say, "Hey guys, let's talk in the Discord," and Josh, lo and behold, with his single-digit IQ, decides to just, I'm gonna say something in the chat, let it get lost, and then just be like, "Oh, I did participate." I hate that shit. That honestly rustles me. It honestly rustles me. No memes.
It's always been like that, though.
Yeah.
I've been trying to use the Discord.
Dude,
I
that's okay.
posted in the
Yeah,
Discord
you did.
today.
You did. I'm proud of
No,
you.
I found-
I put it in the general.
We're
instead of
about
the
putting.
prompts.
We're about putting effort. You know, it's a growing experience. I mean, we're only on our 4th episode. It's all right.
Yeah.
But like if Josh, you could be a decent human being, that'd be great.
Josh isn't gonna listen to this, and you fucking know that.
I know he's
Better,
not
we
gonna
need
listen
the
to it. That's
views.
why I'm complaining about it right here.
All right. Dude, fuck Josh.
Dude, fuck Josh. That's my main point. Yeah, fuck Josh.
I remember the time I drove out to his house to go hang out with him. He's like, "No, I'm going to bed. Fuck that."
You're right. Yeah. So for those who don't know, Josh is a lightweight when it comes to drinking. Like he could sniff beer and that's it. He's
I think he also just goes to bed
Blacked
late
out.
because he's an old man.
yeah. So then fucking he's like, "Hey, I'm drinking with Scott. We're gonna be hanging out." And Scott's another friend of ours.
I've
Fucking
never met this man.
and, all right. So
Let's
he's a
go.
friend of most of ours. And then Cameron's like, "Oh, that sounds fun. Can I come, guys?" And then he's like, "Yeah, dude, come on over." Fucking as soon as Cameron shows up, Josh is like, "Actually, I'm going to sleep. I'm kind of tired." All right, dude.
Literally, like, I turned off my car and I was gonna text him, "Hey, yo, I'm here. Can I come in?" Because I just don't walk into people's houses, except if it's Eddie's house. But
I like that mentioned as Eddie's house and not like mine or Bob's, given that Bob's pays.
okay,
a
I
good
walk
chunk of
into
it.
Eric's house.
All right.
That's actually my house. I live in the washer and dryer.
So
No, Miss Muff lives there. You respect her.
That's my spot now.
So, what are some of those topics for us? Please do tell me some
okay.
of those juicy topics.
So should we just do the age-old discussion? What is anime?
Oh, we're getting into this one. All
I
right.
guess so.
All right. So earlier during the pre-show, if you would, we were trying to get our sound settings all worked out, which we never do. And
Sorry.
fucking Forrest brings up the point, I guess, the argument that, I guess the question I should say, is Avatar: The Last Airbender considered an anime?
Well,
He
anything
in-
in America.
He and Conrad are on the fence of saying no,
You're saying that's not fucking anime?
whereas Cameron and I are on the right side,
That's
saying it should be.
clearly an anime for us.
It's so
How is
please
it
give
an
me-
anime? It's not made in America. Or
So-
sorry, it is made in America.
it's
Whoops.
what?
I remember during you were fucking there, Forrest. The dude that made what's that new one? Fucking Cannon
Cannon
Busters. Yeah, he was talking about how the animation stuff works and like how
Yeah, most of
all
it's
made
done in
fucking
Korea.
So another main point I want to bring up to this is that when Porter Robinson released Shelter with Maddie on, they made a music video
A1
for it. It was
Pictures, I
all
believe, did it.
animated and shit. But then there was a big discussion over it. Like back on r/anime, I believe, is when someone tried posting the video and the mouths were like, "This is an anime," and then everyone's like, "Fuck you, yeah it is." So then eventually it came to this huge discussion, and ultimately we pushed for it, saying, "Yeah, it's anime." But that's not the important thing. But I'm not using them as a reference. I'm using them as showing that the argument's been there. Well, another important thing that's happened because of that, there was this. I don't know if you guys were aware of it, but there was like this meeting of like a couple directors, a couple animators, a couple people that have, I guess, some philosophies on the fucking anime, and they all got together and had like this board in Japan, and they were discussing, is this an anime? And most of them, I don't remember how many were there, but just from what I remember, it was maybe like 8 out of 12 were like, yeah, this is an anime, 100%. Even if it's not like made directly in Japan or anywhere else, referencing the studios in Korea or wherever used for some animations.
Yep.
It was more so how something was presented, how something was made, and how something looks. Like,
Well, see, the thing is, it's like I also watch Ruby, and like it's not on. They say on r/anime that it's not an anime. But what do you guys think of it?
I feel like anime is more or less just a style of media, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just a certain where. Okay, so let's go with our logo. Is that an anime girl that you drew, Forrest?
No.
That's not an
I'm
anime.
it's not a bunch
American,
of polygons. What the fuck?
That is.
It is
It
not.
isn't an anime style.
I thought Miss
would-
Muff drew that.
I would not just say because you made that in goddamn the middle of the U.S. that is not an anime girl. It's just a style of media.
Well, I have to tell you something that I didn't tell anybody else.
What?
That this podcast is not an anime podcast. It's actually a cartoon podcast because we're in the U.S.
Yeah, I'm talking about Johnny Test all the time. Let
Yep.
me tell you.
Don't
No.
ever fucking talk about Johnny.
Dude, I
Test again.
hate that show so fucking much. No, but
Bringing it back to the anime, it's like, well, to me, I actually think that it's just the art style. It doesn't make a
Yeah.
difference where it's made, like who voices it or who it's made for. A lot of people argue that who it's made for makes it an anime. So like Ruby and Last Airbender, Korra, were all made for American audiences. So a lot of people say it's not an anime because it wasn't made for Japanese audiences.
hold up, how the fuck are they gonna determine this was made for the Western audience?
Is it
Like,
literally-
is there like a label that goes with the shipping
I think
for
it's,
the Westerners and then just shipped out?
I
That's
guess
fucking
because it
retarded.
was made in English, you could argue.
yeah,
that.
that's what I would say their argument would be like the voice actors weren't originally Japanese.
Neither's a lot of anime. Wow,
Uh,
wow, it's not in English. Wow.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. It's like, why does it matter who it's pointed to? If it's in a certain style, it's like you have American manga writers writing in the, I guess it's right to left, and then your comics read left to right. It's like if the American man made a manga or wrote it from right to left, is it a manga or is it a comic that's written backwards?
I
'cause-
don't.
I think it depends on what the book is about.
Yeah.
it's-
Well, if
And
if
the
it's in the
style.
manga style, like anime manga style,
I can see the argument for it.
That's-
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's
I'm
why
okay with it.
it's
Actually
that's what
very
people argue
interesting.
about though, because it's like, well, this man wrote it in this style, so it's probably based towards more of a manga, so more of a Japanese audience, but it was made in America. It's like the same thing you could say about the other shows that we're talking about.
I don't know. I feel like there's some sort of also culture with it. Like, can you make Captain America into an anime?
They do.
We made
technically,
Batman.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Like-
there is a manga, and if you watch, I know the Logan or X-Men or Wolverine, there you go, has an anime style show. I think there's another one too, but I can't remember which one
I
it
guess
is.
where I'm going with is like, in most anime, it's Asian influence. Depending, like
Yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender has a lot of Asian themes
influence.
into it.
Well-
not necessarily Japanese. With like,
If you're gonna go-
Say is kind of like
Chinese.
yeah,
Yeah.
Chinese. and
If you're
stuff
gonna go
like
that way, then you also have to say it's like, well, this season Banana Fish and I think 91 Days or something like that is about American mafias. So it's like that's technically an anime, but it's more geared towards the American audience, if you ask me, because Japanese, I don't really think know much about
also-
U.S.
They
culture.
don't know much about. I was gonna say about mafia. Oh, I guess the yakuza aren't a thing anymore.
No,
I don't know.
You-
Forrest, 'cause
what are
that's-
they?
It's in New York, I'm guessing, right?
Yes, it's
Yeah. I
feel like
New
that's
York and
one of
LA.
these-
91 days, I think, is in like in England or New York.
Yeah.
One or the
Yeah,
other.
I can't
I
remember
feel
quite.
like those are the stereotypical, American. Like when you think of America, you think of New York, San Francisco, stuff like that. You
Yeah.
don't think of
The big cities,
Arkansas
Yeah.
or fucking
Alaska.
Alaska or anything like that. I feel like those could maybe cater to like the stereotypes of that other countries think of America.
Well,
If
yeah.
that make any sense?
No, well, because
That they're not necessarily catering to an American audience, but what other countries think America is like.
yeah,
Because like first thing I think of New York is mafia, really.
I think of the fucking rats because there's like a
Rats.
2-to-1 ratio for rats and humans.
That's
Never fucking
terrifying.
forget. Never
oh,
forget.
man, they're so beautiful. They're like the size of a dog.
Do you pet them?
Have you seen some of those,
No,
Cameron? Some of those are fucking huge. I
So-
honestly the size of dogs.
At my work, we have the old dog food factory that we call Coke. Just an old abandoned building where we store motors. So in the basement section, sometimes we have to go down there. I haven't personally gone down there because I'm terrified.
Ghosts.
But no, of giant fucking rats.
Same
Apparently, we've got a
difference.
very bad problem with hobos and giant rats chilling in that building. Where whenever we go over there, like say we have to like grab a motor for like a fucking conveyor belt or something,
Right.
they're like, all right, you go and make sure you bring a whooping stick just in case you got any hobos or a rat in there. And yeah, back to anime because I just kind of started talking about
It's gonna.
beating hobos with
Don't worry
sticks.
about it. It happens on regular
Has there ever
podcast.
been
Tangent
an
thoughts.
anime about hobos, Forrest?
well, technically yes, if you want to count like Hinamatsumi, the new one that came out last season.
Is that about hobos?
But there is kind of a part where there is hobos in it.
Oh, that's so sad.
if you really want to go there.
Oh, that hurts my soul.
But that would be another discussion on probably a different podcast.
Oh shit!
Just trying to wrangle
I
us
respect
back
that.
in.
I respect that.
I want to touch someone's fist. Hell yeah.
But yeah, there's just so many arguments that go both directions. You're like, well, if it's geared towards people, is it the animation style? To me, anime is just it's anime. It doesn't matter. It's like cartoons could be anime, I guess.
Anime doesn't matter. Remember, Forrest said this episode 4.
Well, this is a cartoon podcast,
Fuck.
so it doesn't matter.
Checkmate.
Anyway, but it's like, how's the argument? What?
I feel like it's just something you know it when you see it. You know what I mean?
You just have that gut feeling. You're like,
This is
anime or an anime style.
You just know.
Going on an earlier point, I'm on the fence that Ruby is an anime. Personally, again,
I think so too.
given a lot of its influences, given a lot of how it carries itself. Sure, it's CG, but I mean, so was fucking Godzilla. So was a lot of other shitty shows.
A lot of
Looking at
Netflix stuff too.
looking at what was the one with the girl in the red beret hat with the they killed monsters. They had giant fucking weapons.
Holy fuck! Do I know
Soul
this?
Eater?
God Eater? No,
Oh
God-
no.
No.
I'm gonna say I don't remember.
I don't fucking remember the name, but like, there's a lot of CG shit.
Well, you
that-
got Blame and a lot of Netflix stuff.
Yeah.
Expelled from Paradise, I think, is CG.
Is it? I don't fucking know. I only read the manga.
Okay, but I think it's CG. But
Right,
you
right.
know, CG is like you don't see that much in American stuff in general, except if you think of like internet-based stuff. That's the only time I can think of
I
CG.
can't.
It's in all of our movies.
Well, yeah.
That's
Well, if you're
To be
gonna
fair,
go
I
off
think the West is
CG
really good at the CG and its usage. I think it's a lot better than a lot of Eastern CG, at least from what I've seen.
yeah.
Wait, what show?
Just CG in general and its usage.
Oh,
It's better in America.
In the West, yeah.
I
I'd
know.
say in America and also probably in Europe.
That's one of the most jarring things. Like this happened today when I was watching Megaloboxes. When they're in the big stadium,
yeah,
I
the
could
people.
clearly tell. I'm like, hey, this is animation then CG
Yeah.
animation. It was a couple like when I was like panning around the whole thing. I'm like, that's just
And then there's a lot of like Western movies that like, is this CG? Is this the back prop? What the fuck? I don't know what the difference is.
Well, I'm gonna go back to like I'll go to Star Wars here, and Leia and
the new ones.
yeah, and the new ones, Leia and shit,
The older
one of the
guy,
bad guys.
one of the older ones.
Yeah, and they were CG'd. Like I've seen a lot of stuff, like a lot of CG, so I could tell that he was CG because he just looked a little bit off, like he was too
It's
perfect.
that uncanny valley sort of thing.
Yeah, but like Leia to me was very good CG. I couldn't really tell.
I honestly forgot while we were watching it. But then then people bring up the argument, they're big companies, but fucking Japan Animation has a lot of funds going into it. Like they're pretty big companies in and of themselves. I think it's just the CG realm hasn't been as pushed
No.
as it has here in the West.
Well, the
but-
problem with CG to me, when anime uses it, most of the time it's background characters. Like I can remember Irregular Magic, the movie, when they're just moving around in the
yeah,
background.
yeah.
It just
Yeah.
it hurts because you're just like, it's like I can tell that CG. It's not even good.
Yeah.
For me, in an unbiased view, one of my favorite uses of CG is what Overlord does. They use the CG for a bunch of the monsterish
Yeah.
and a lot of these mob things. Like if they see skeletons with CG, I'm perfectly fine with that.
I think they even do that in the intro.
Well, yeah.
Where
It makes me feel
yeah.
more like it's a video game. Like that's what it's supposed to be, though.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, that's an
and
NPC
then at
character.
the same time though, like ignoring that part, like yeah, it's a good point, but like just looking at it from a style of, I guess from a perspective of like, does this fit with what it's looking at? Looking at the fight scenes, I'm like, yeah, it looks like it's perfectly fine. Like if I was looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I'd believe it, type of thing.
Yeah. But CG, I like it if it's done well. But to me, Japan really hasn't done it very
I
well.
wonder, well, with the West, it mostly tries to go towards realistic CG. I'm wondering if that's because it's been more of a, West has kind of pushed CG go towards, realistic instead of an anime style.
Well, it's more like if you think about it, it's in video games a lot too.
Yeah, I guess you got me there.
And the video game CG is not bad, but I guess because they're trying to pump out so much, and the reason why Japan uses CG like as background characters is they need it out now. So they can't really polish it. They're just like, well, we need a normal looking anime person, put them in the background, and we're gonna make them walk or do whatever.
I
And it's
guess,
normally
yeah.
something quick. That either if someone drew it, it would take them a couple hours, or if they animated it with
Something
like
they're going to use for 20 seconds.
yeah, and it's
But
like
then there's
get
like
few
a lot
times.
of other usages where it's like the main focal point and it's used throughout the work.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
We want this particular thing to be in CG, and they just kind of stick with it.
Like if they do all CG, like the Godzilla one, it's not as bad, but it could still be somewhat better in certain parts. But sometimes I just kind of forget about it. If it bothers me enough, I'll just won't even look at it.
But as for me personally, in the CG in the new Godzilla, which I would recommend if you two haven't seen it, the new Godzilla movie, the animated films are pretty fucking
It's on
good.
The one
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah. So, but the CG in that honestly didn't bother me at all.
It wasn't that bad. There was a few parts that were a little iffy, but it was pretty smooth comparative to some shows I've seen. And
That's an interesting point, though. And another tangent thought is how, like, when trying to describe or defend something, I guess Forrest would go along with the point of it's not that bad, but kind of brings up the mentality of like comparing it to other bad things as opposed to being like it's pretty good, or it's like as opposed to looking at it in a positive manner, it's more the negative one. I don't know. It was a pretty interesting point.
yeah, well, that's how I've always looked though. But I don't know. As I said, anime could be many things in general at this point, and it's hard to. It's hard for me to argue that it's like, well, if it's the animation style, is CG not anime anymore? If CG is anime, then Ruby obviously counts as anime because it's CG. If it's just because it's hand drawn and it's hand drawn for certain people, then you'd have to either count Korra and that type of show as anime.
Right.
But if
Yeah.
it's like meant for the certain people it's made for, there's so many discussions you can go.
For me, something that it reminds me of is when people describe music, it's like, oh, I don't like this, it's bad. It's like, but like, no, actually, this music's pretty good. You just don't like it. Which I think is a different perspective, but they're just trying to throw a quick blanket statement onto it, just to show that their disapproval of it, and not really put much thought into it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the problem is the argument's just so loud. Just everyone just is yelling at each other.
This
There's like,
echo chamber of weebs pretending they understand shit, living
like-
from their mom's basement.
you got two different people yelling at the wall at this point. You got three, I'd say. You got the one person that says everything is anime. One person says everything's not anime, and the other people that just don't care. And I'm more of on the side of it doesn't matter to me. I'm just gonna watch it. If it's good, it's good. If it's
That's fair.
not, I will not watch it.
Is Ruby good?
Maybe.
I think it's entertaining. Personally, there's some points about it that I liked, points about it that I didn't like, and then overall, it's just like I appreciate the effort that they're putting into this shit, and overall, I find it pretty interesting. So I'm gonna keep watching it.
See, my problem is I can't give you a straight review because I've been a Rooster Teeth fan forever, so
I
I
used
can't
to
really.
watch Rooster Teeth a lot, and I saw they're making Ruby. I'm like, that's kind of
Remember when they did
Yeah.
their animations for the Halo shit, like the red versus blue?
machinima style.
Oh,
yeah.
and it was all machinima style, but then it started getting to like the animated
Well,
shit.
I remember
that's
that.
when
Ooh, that
when
shit-
Maniome came on,
Ooh.
and because he's the one that created Ruby, if you guys didn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and rip.
Yeah. And then
Rest in peace.
obviously he passed away, and depressing. But it's like he did it for that type of audience. He's like, this is what he liked. He liked anime, so he did it for that people. The people that are animating that show like anime.
Yeah.
So if they're doing it because they like it and they're trying to push that style, it's anime to me then. But it's, as people say, it's in Japan, voice acted by Japanese people. I don't know if that'd make it weirder or not. I've only heard it in English.
Yeah, I heard a couple of the songs in Japanese, and I think they're pretty dope.
The music's good in that show
That's
in general.
really weird.
Yeah, I find it entertaining though.
It's just weird how they progressed as a company, Just going back into, like, I remember like when I was like 8, Red versus Blue is the coolest thing ever, and now they're just,
jokes.
yeah, like they are like literally like this like mecha, like literally like a bunch of like
Yeah, now they got podcasts,
yeah.
reviews, like they got voice
Like,
acting
they're-
and shit.
their hat is so large. I guess I'm trying to say is the different things that they have under their fucking paw.
Oh yeah, it's like they started off with one show that was a comedy, and now they have too much stuff.
Is Red versus Blue still a thing?
Yes, they're on like season 15.
Is it still in the
16.
animated style, or is it?
Or is it
It's-
back to machinima?
No, it's animated.
Yeah, 'cause
But it's always been somewhat machinima still, but
Yeah.
there's a lot more
Yeah.
animation involved.
what are they? Because I remember
These seasons are confusing.
I remember I probably stopped watching about when they started going really heavy into it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I picked it up like one episode. I'm like, oh, let's see. They put a new because it was like I just saw them on your YouTube. They're like, oh, season 55 is coming out. First episode's tomorrow. I'm like, oh, look at that. And I'm like, holy shit, this entire episode's animated.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing this point they barely get into it. I'm like, this kind of looks like trash.
So I'll probably give it a review really quick. Like, I love the old stuff because it's so funny, and then the new stuff, the story is like dark and kind of a little bit everywhere. Like, I don't follow it too much.
Yeah,
Is it in
But
the
the-
Halo universe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
it
remember-
followed the same guys like with Tex and all her
Yeah.
shit before.
It got like weird,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
well, the thing is, I said it was funny, and then they got animators and made it more serious. The thing I like about the new seasons is, this season's pretty funny, but it's a lot more action. Like, if you want to watch people fighting each other and shooting, I'd watch that. And there's still the usual jokes that they always have, but
Right.
it's
Yeah.
not like it used to be like 10 minutes of just
so they did
dumb
go
jokes.
really into the lore.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
because it was like when they started. I think it was like Washington was his name.
Yeah.
Like when I'm like this thing's getting like
Was that the skull?
No,
that was
Washington.
the gray dude.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Gray and
Okay.
yellow.
Yeah.
Just kind of shows up.
The main ones were like Washington, Carolina, and Tex. Those are ones I can always remember.
And I'm like, Church, I think, was in there too.
The Church is the main blue guy.
And then he turned into the Guilty Spark.
Yeah.
Bless his
You don't
soul.
remember that?
No, I do.
Bless
That was
his soul. That was, she was so funny.
He had some interesting voice actors in that too. But anyway, that's not an anime. I'm
Is
gonna
that
argue
an
that
anime,
one. No,
Forrest?
that's not an argument.
How is that not a fucking anime?
It's not animated in the anime
It's
style.
CGI.
It's
Was
not
it
Yeah.
animated.
Halo Legends
Microsoft
an
had
anime?
Microsoft had machines made in Japan. That counts.
Oh, okay. So
What
it is
about
anime.
what about those like really short like Halo Legend things?
So
Like,
my
was it
argument
anime?
with the Halo Legends is I'll give about one video in anime, and the rest of them were not.
I'm saying the one with Cortana giving the backstory of the Forerunners. That's totally a fucking anime.
The one that was like in the old Japanese painting style.
No, that's one of them though.
That's
the
an
one where
anime
she's
too,
like
I'm looking
talking
at it.
about the history of the Forerunners. That's
I remember that one.
that's an anime. And then also the Elite one. I would.
That Leon was so
That's-
I would say
good.
that's
Oh my
also
God.
an anime in some sort of
Oh
sense.
shit, dude! I was just thinking of that one too when
Because
we were mentioning that whole arc. I'm like, ooh, the elite one. Though.
Imagine
That
if
one
they
was-
did an
They're totally
anime,
samurais.
like anime that had that style, like 12 episodes, 30 minutes. It'd be so cool because that style was what 10 minutes of the show, maybe.
maybe.
I don't remember.
But having a full show like that would be amazing.
There's also the one with that random fucking Spartan that he crash lands on a planet. That's definitely an anime. Now I'm thinking about that shit.
Yeah.
That's definitely an anime. That has
I'm gonna have to rewatch. it. I
Yo,
don't
on the
remember most
real
of this.
though, Spartans had some of the craziest fucking lores. Some of the shit that they got themselves into.
Yeah.
Like for me, one of my favorite lores from I guess the Halo universe comes from actually Halo Wars, and what those 3 Spartans that you pick up, all the shit that they had to go through, all the shit that they like oh shit, this shit is evacuating. Like we have shit tons of Covenant coming. We have maybe 3 Marines to help us out. I guess we're gonna have to do it last time, try to make sure that our citizens survive, and all these like constant like near death scenarios that they find themselves into. And then looking back at Halo Wars, the first game, there's a scene where like I don't think it's the Arbiter. I think it's just a group of elites that come down and just try to fuck their shit up, and the Arbiter's fighting
was it
Colonel, but like the Spartans are just going ham on these fucking elites, and they just the animation for that shit was pretty clean, pretty fucking clean.
Man, I'm kind of sad that Halo got bad. Halo Wars 2 was
Yeah.
apparently good, right?
I bought it, but then honestly, I was so busy in my life that I forgot about it. I still have it. I just haven't gotten too into it. I went 3 missions into it, and it was
like
pretty
the
interesting.
whole thing with like the Atriox. It seemed like they were going like in a pretty cool route with that.
From the 3 levels that I played, they were tough. They looked cool, and I had a little bit of fun. My main gripe is that I couldn't do the key mapping on the keyboard. That was the whole
Oh.
fucking reason I bought it on the computer.
Really? So you had to do all mouse shit.
Yeah, no. I had to go with their preset
Oh.
shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have to adapt to this. I guess.
Oh.
All right. Bye, Conrad. Never forget.
Man, this is
Our sound
the
engineer
best
is the best.
podcast we've done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Moment of
it's
silence
just-
for Conrad.
It's definitely an anime.
This is a
podcast.
moment
Yo,
of
it's a moment of
silence.
silence, dude. Shut the fuck up.
Fuck up.
Amen.
Holy fuck!
Right
I was
on.
gonna say that. That's great. Ripping pepperoni, Conrad.
Yeah, dude.
But so, what is anime? We never answered the question.
Holy, I would say
What
it's,
is it? I think it's. Let Cameron go first, actually.
I'd say it's a type of broad art style that can fit into many different things, albeit animation or culture wise or something like that. What would you say, Eric?
For me, I think it's more what it's influenced by, what it's trying to do, and I guess how it looks to an extent.
I'd have to say the same thing. Where how it looks is pretty much of a main key, and just how it is. You just have a gut feeling, I guess, because sometimes some shows you're like, "This ain't anime," but some of them you're like, "Yeah, I can see this as an anime." That'd be
Okay.
my argument.
But then, like, even then, like, something I found pretty funny is how they're keeping anime up to, like, for me, it seems like they're putting it on this pedestal, like, it's this holy grail of animation. Bruh, there's so many shitty animes out there. The way you're
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to defend a lot of this stuff. Just say, like, honestly, a lot of the garbage I see in anime, I could compare to a lot of garbage I see, like, in what are Western cartoons. Like, I could find multiple Johnny Test-esque type of shows and be like, this is so
Same.
bad. And then there's others like, oh, hey, this is Last Airbender. Oh, hey, this is some other great anime type of thing that I'll be like, yeah, this.
Yeah, as I said, I just
Yeah.
consider it's a gut feeling.
Yeah, but then
There's
again,
no genre of what anime to me really is.
yeah, but then again, for me, like personally, my important part is the storytelling. Like, As long as the storytelling is entertaining, I'm okay with however it's delivered in whatever medium.
What's the difference between a cartoon and an anime? I feel like
Do you know what anime means?
fuck. Is it
Come on, give me an answer.
animated?
Oh,
I just feel like
yeah, you're right.
I
It's
feel like
just animation.
Yeah, that's
Anime
it.
is just short for animation.
AKA cartoon.
Yeah.
I guess there's probably
So technically, I think most Japanese people, like going back to Johnny Test or something, call that anime because that's what it is in English or in Japanese.
Isn't they gonna look at our cartoons and be like, look, it's a cartoon. Cartoon of this. It'd be like, oh, anime.
so Johnny Test is an anime. In
Oh
Japan.
my god, this is
Oh,
the worst.
Holy shit!
We're in the worst timeline.
So, is Johnny Test an anime?
But at the same
Cameron?
time, Ben 10 is an anime.
I'm gonna start.
Teen
throwing
Titans is an
punches.
anime.
Is
Teen
it-
Titans
is
is an
it an
anime. I'm
anime?
okay
This
with
is
that.
my
We're in the
answer.
best timeline,
The
actually.
question.
I don't know. Johnny Test still exists, dude.
It doesn't matter. I'll watch it either way.
So, yeah. What about now? Anything else we should add?
On a tangent thought,
Holy shit.
something I'm really excited for.
Yeah, tell me.
With the whole memeing about Teen Titans, the whole Teen Titans live action shit,
Yeah.
I'm hyped
I
about
didn't
that.
even know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's a
Unfortunately,
movie
it's gonna
coming
be
out.
on DC's subscription bullshit. They kind of like how the
Okay.
WWE has their WWE channel you subscribe to, and like Crunchyroll has their shit.
Well, it'll
DC
be
has
on.
their shit, but
It'll be on some of our legal websites. We don't watch anything illegally, so
yeah, our
we'll
totally
find
legal
it.
site that we all use. Yeah,
Arg.
Bless you.
Gesundheit.
You're welcome.
Dankeschön.
I don't speak French. I'm sorry.
Is there German anime?
Yes, Tanya.
Holy
She's a Nazi,
shit,
technically.
dude.
We're in the best timeline again. Welcome back.
No, Tanya's the best timeline.
That's no. I would not want to be in that.
We're getting a
world.
movie for that shit, right?
Yeah,
when's
that's
that supposed
coming
to
out. I think either end of this year or beginning of next year.
That's a lot closer than I thought. I'm happy.
Either way, I'm
about
okay
that.
with that.
I still-
Oh no, keep going, keep going.
I was just saying, I gotta start reading the manga I bought for Tanya, and also
The
buy
light
the
novels.
first. No, I bought the manga too.
I thought it was a
Yeah,
light
no.
novel that it was based off of.
It's based off of a light novel, but he bought both light novel and manga.
No, I get it by the light novels. I'm not too interested on the manga, to be honest. That's just my preference.
I more or less got it because it's good. What word is that?
Good
Coffee
read.
table.
Spunk.
It's good talking piece.
No, that's this room.
Yeah, I feel you.
Spunk.
From
Is this room?
I'm really excited for that shit. But on another note, I guess a question for you guys: what's your favorite fight scene that you've seen in an anime?
Shit.
Any anime,
my
any-
God, no, dude.
Yo, I'll hit you with mine right off the bat. The fucking fight scene from the No Game No Life movie.
That's a good
That
one.
last
That's a
shit
good
where
one.
they're just blowing shit. Oh, dude, that shit was so good. I'm pretty sure you haven't seen it.
No.
Look up a quick YouTube clip when we're done with this shit, but it is gorgeous.
You should
It
watch
is
that show.
So fucking
You
good.
should watch a lot of shows for us if you can fucking tell. I just need you guys. I need to set up a fucking list. Start going down.
Dude, just trust me. All right, first start with Haikyuu. Then you go to No Game No Life, and then we'll go to guess other shit after you finish those two. We'll
No
do
games
it.
up
We'll
there
do
on
it
my
two
list.
at
I
a.
just don't want to powerhouse through some things last season though.
Yeah, it's okay. Just go through those two first, and then just trust.
Ooh, I
I
like
Trust
like
you,
to
bro.
stop going to school just so I can watch more anime.
And
See
then you
you
drop
guys.
out. You hear that, kids? We're talking to you, Kevin. Drop out. Just
Sorry, Kevin.
Kevin in school?
I have no idea, but
Yes,
just drop
he
out
is.
of whatever you're doing. Work, school,
Oh,
weaving.
Man, I'm going
I
through all my
thought
shows and I
Alright.
can't figure out what show I'd say.
Best fight scene, Cam.
Best fight scene?
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know. It's probably just because it's on my mind because we were just talking about it, but probably their first fight scene in Tanya, like where she's actually fucking insane and she like blows herself up at the end.
Is
That was
that
pretty
is that the
cool.
one where she goes straight up and then kamikazes
She
down?
fucking elbows the dude in
Yeah.
the fucking ribs.
That one was dope.
That one's pretty cool. What else?
Mine might be actually pretty shitty.
What
I
is
like. I actually like the last fight scene in One Punch Man,
Oh yeah,
where he
fuck.
I dig it.
fights the guy that thinks he's all powerful.
I'm
The
surprised.
alien dude.
Yeah.
With the eye,
Yeah,
with the eye,
that shit was dope. But I'm surprised that for you, for someone who I don't know,
There's-
from what I remember, you were hyping up Mob Psycho as one of your favorite things,
Uh,
and then you didn't turn to Mob Psycho.
My
as
second
the,
one would have been Mob Psycho. The last fight scene also when that crazy lady or guy was throwing the balls
Yeah.
at him and the what's his name, Reggie, the blonde haired one.
I don't remember his name,
Right.
but
He
yeah.
just
no.
kind of deflects the balls like it was nothing.
I think my personal favorite fight from that shit was when a mob, I guess, is the main character,
Yeah.
Yeah.
fights the blonde
Yeah.
dude, like,
Oh,
and they go through the
yeah,
whole
I
school
forgot
and you
about that
start
one.
tearing shit up, and in the last scene where he's just fucking he's like, oh, that's okay, I'll get you this time, and then mob just like makes everything levitate, and it's like, oh god, no,
Oh,
I fought the
yeah.
wrong dude.
I also
He
like
cuts off his hair.
That shit
Speaking
was
of-
so funny.
when One Punch Man
Yeah.
with the subterraneans. I like that one too.
Oh, where they're before One Punch
when
gets
he's
there.
dreaming,
Oh,
yeah.
with
Yeah. Oh.
what is-
Subterranean.
what about the part where was it Kamen Rider is the bike, the dude on the bike, he
Yeah.
actually tries fighting the main boss, and it was like, "Got this," and then, like, "You got this," and then he gets fucked up, and
He got one punch basically.
that shit was so
Oh,
good.
that's such a
Oh,
good
we
show.
binged that show, didn't we?
We watched it
Yeah.
like 2 times. I
Yeah.
think.
The
Yeah.
show's so
There
good.
was
Watched it at
Season
Josh's
2.
apartment, I think.
I think the first time was actually when we stayed over here.
No, this is back when you lived with Josh. I think we watched.
Oh,
it.
maybe.
This was like the same time, like when we like also like watched those like 4 episodes of Castlevania in that kind of timeline.
So another reference, Josh and I used to be roommates, and at the apartment we were at, a couple times Conrad and Cameron would sleep over, and we just most of the time we just binge watch anime, to be honest, and we stayed up pretty
I
late.
feel like about a good section of us have been quote unquote roommates with you at least for a good second.
Thinking about it, yeah,
Because you got
Not me.
Bob, Eddie, Conrad, Josh, and I guess me to a certain extent because I kind of pseudo live at Conrad's house sometimes.
yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, but while we were just binge watching anime, we just started to watch One Punch Man. Because Conrad and Cameron, I think, both said, no, we've never seen this before. I'm like, oh, you guys have got
It
to
was
see
on
this shit.
Netflix too, so we
Yeah.
binged it. 'cause
So,
it was the entire
we watched
season.
it. And like at first, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Then like the laughs started kicking in. The moments when One Punch Man just started going ham on these people. That fucking great. Oh, it was so good. But for me, my favorite part of that was during the subterranean people. That shit was so
That
fun.
was
good
a
fight.
really good
That
fight.
shit was so funny.
Remember the
And then he
dream.
wakes
The
up.
real fight's even better. We're just like, oh,
Kicks the
can
shit
they
out
blow
of
up?
him. He's like a foot tall.
That makes me excited for the next arc, though, especially
two.
because I'm hoping it covers the fighting tournament arc. For those that haven't seen, I won't say too much about it, but this shit is fucking hilarious. It's so fucking funny.
I'm gonna have to drop 2 more fight scenes, but one's a joke. The Kobayashi fight scene with Kana and
That one's pretty
Toru.
dope.
That's a
That one's
good
pretty
one.
dope.
it's a joke, but it's a good one. And then I'd have to say probably one of my other ones would be Kill la Kill. My favorite one, I think, in Kill la Kill would have to be the music one.
Yeah, that one's pretty dope.
I like a 2-star Maho just beating the fuck out of her. That was
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
The
That
two-star
was
is
so
so good.
dope with the fucking brass knuckles.
Fucking Clover hanging out her mouth. That was probably my favorite thing.
Best though,
So
easily.
badass.
So Forrest, come out that Nendoroid.
It's in my house.
Come out them Nendoroids.
It's in my house.
Hell yeah.
Putting the podcast on mobile, carry the shit on your back. We are going to Forrest's house live. Live, I say.
To go
And
look.
we're here.
Here,
So-
put it in the helicopter.
I'm sorry,
I'm on the news
listeners.
chopper for Anime Talk Radio. We're going live to Forrest's house. Forrest, what do you have to say about this?
I can't hear you. This ride is about.
Oh no, it's going down.
Forrest, we're going down over. Forrest, help.
Hello, this is Eddie taking over the podcast.
Yikes.
They all died.
The reincarnation of Eddie sounds like an old Forrest, dude. That feels good
I'm
shit.
not gonna lie. Ever since we started this podcast, I wanted to do an excuse to put ourselves on a helicopter. So I'm really glad I could work that in. I'm not sure when I got the clapping to be a helicopter noise in my head, but I totally fucking.
If it works out, my
wanted to
dude.
do that.
If it worked out, you just gotta go for it.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Oh, are we ending it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We're an
I
hour
feel
I'm
and
not
a
gonna
half
keep
in
going
now.
if you guys are down, but like if you guys want to end it for sure.
Let's just fucking. I don't care.
How do you guys want to do it?
We can go solo, me and you, Mendez.
Just the two of us.
I don't know what the fuck
We
talking
can
about.
make it if we try.
You can more or less just tell me the things I should
Just
watch
the
for like
two of
4
us.
hours.
I'm telling you right now, the only 2 suggestions I'm gonna give you right now are gonna be Haikyuu and No Game No Life. Until you finish those shows, we're not gonna suggest anymore. I'm speaking
that
for the
probably
group.
makes my life easier. now
Should watch
thinking about it.
Steins Gate.
No,
Who's that
you know who
about?
should?
I don't know.
Josh.
Josh.
Fucking Josh.
Fuck Josh. Hey Eddie, can you get on the mic real quick and say fuck Josh?
Fuck Josh.
That's what I'm
Glad
trying to
we
say.
got that
Hey Paul,
buttery
Paul-
voice in here for at least
Paul,
a
can you come
second.
over here and say a quick fuck Josh into the mic for us?
Come on.
Just come on, dude.
Just do
just-
it. Fuck
All you gotta do
bitch.
is you walk up and you say fuck Josh. Sorry, dude. You don't even know how. You just know fuck Josh. That's like.
You're their special guest.
Fuck Josh.
You're fucked if
And
you
there you
ever
go.
wanna be a politician. Like, you're associated with this. We're gonna run a smear campaign so hard.
A smear campaign
So is
on
the
the
name
group
of this
hazing.
episode "Fuck Josh"?
Yo, I'm 100% down to say fuck Josh.
You
as the
name
name
the
of the episode.
episodes?
I name them.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
well, like we do something similar where we're like we put like the big bullet points that we want
was
that we
the
talk
bullet
about.
Point was fuck Josh.
So,
The main thing is fuck Josh. Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna end it
I
there.
don't know, dude. It's not a round number, so it kind of bothers me.
It's 28.
It's not 30.
Oh
Dude,
my
20
God.
is round.
I guess 8 is a pretty round number.
Yeah,
It
you're
has
right.
2 rounds in it at least.
At least 2 halves of rounds. Just
I'd
kinda...
say those are full rounds. They just kind of intersect in the middle. Those are 2 separate rounds put together, which you might consider one round if you think about it real hard.
That's kind of cute. I like that.
I like that. It's
I
kind
like
of
that.
hot.
I'd put that in a slice of life thing. That's pretty cute.
Intersecting rounds.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's actually gonna be the name of the movie.
Inters-
Intersecting around.
That sounds like that might actually be a badass alien movie where like the rounds intersect Earth somehow. I'm not sure. They teleport their planet halfway into Earth, and it kind of looks like an 8. And like it's like those like dual stars, like binary systems where we get like a planet teleported right next to ours and it's put into our orbit and it has an intelligent life on. I'm fucking. Someone write this shit down. Copyright it before we fucking
Yeah, that'd be
put
dope.
this podcast out.
Yeah, that'd be dope. We're copywriting that. Don't release this episode. Actually,
You guys
wait till we
don't even
copyright
fucking
it.
Care. I
Yeah.
know you don't.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We're not gonna release
That-
it.
Like,
oh,
it's-
yeah,
you
don't release
have
this
to
episode.
fucking-
Cameron and I are gonna get the copyrights for this shit, and then we'll be rich.
Okay,
And then when we're rich, we'll just laugh at you.
that's fine.
I'm laughing right now.
You guys
I'm
are
laughing
rich.
pretty good.
You're gonna have to cut out like maybe 95%.
Or don't cut out any.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. Oh man, that means the whole beginning part, the whole beginning spiel is so fucked because
of course it's
because of the guy
fucked.
who's editing it.
That's the point of the beginning part.
I-
Okay, it's 30 seconds.
No, fuck you. All right, we're good. Go,
So,
go.
Thank you for watching this podcast. Subscribe, like it, tell a friend. We'll be on next week, probably at a different time, same time. I don't know anymore.
Also, never forget, fuck Josh.
Fuck
dude.
Josh.
See you later, but fuck Josh.
Fuck
Goodbye.
Josh.